Analysts after work, and I'm joined by two amazing dudes, Jared and Jimmy. Jared, Jimmy, what's going on, guys?
Go for it, Jimmy. I'll let you go first.
Oh, I was gonna wait H before beauty, but if you want
Oh,
to
geez.
go,
We're
Now,
gonna
with this,
start.
with this gray beard, I'm feeling old.
this is a great deal. Um, no, things have been great during the this whole Corona thing. I
Mm,
mean, I mean, there has been some pros and cons. Work wise, it's been very busy because we've had to bring a lot of people. We've had to bring a lot of people home. So
sure.
buying laptops, monitors, headset has been really crazy. But I mean, I'm fortunate. Many of us are fortunate. We're not among the ones who cannot be here to see our loved ones.
Right.
So my heart goes out to these people who are suffering right now, and
Sure.
it's really tragic.
For
Uh,
sure.
so that really breaks somebody's heart.
Sure.
And
Cheers to that, Jimmy.
yeah, exactly. And unfortunate as well, not one of those the people, the frontline workers. So I'm able to stay home to work from home,
Right.
and also to get to know my children a lot. I'm discovering that I have 4 kids. I mean,
This is, yeah.
I count the numbers, but for
Yeah.
some reason, I'm getting to really to know them. So,
Hmm.
so it's been very great. There have been some changes. I tried to put a shirt on, a white shirt on. I could not button it up.
Oh.
Yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason, my neck decided to expand. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
had to take some very strict measure to shrink it
Right.
by running every day. So that's been something new. That's been something new to me. So in all, yeah, work is busy.
Good.
Trying to work some new diet, and we are thankful we're here on this live stream with you guys. I'm very thankful for that.
Well, I appreciate you joining. First question for you: what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I'm drinking water.
Okay.
You know,
Respect. All right.
I didn't know that. Oh, by the way, my birthday was recently, so I did have a glass of wine, and I said, "Gee, I wish I could have saved that wine for this evening." But I said, "Man, come on, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna drink my wine." So
Jimmy, you're the best, buddy.
I got my wine on.
Happy birthday. What was this? 40, 42,
No, man, add one more to it.
43? Okay.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
we're
21.
close. We're
Yeah,
close. We're
yeah.
close. Jared, how about you, man? What's going on?
So, working in IIBA, we're a virtual company anyway, so it's
Mm,
business as usual from that perspective. We all work remotely. None of us, we don't have any offices. So the transition was really, really simple, right?
right.
Okay, just go back to work or keep working, really.
Right.
Um, so I don't know if you know Lori Silverman or not, but
I do.
I had a great conversation with her, and I'm going to steal a phrase that she said. And social distancing is the wrong term, and I really believe that. Physical distancing, I completely agree with. We should be socially connected, which is kind of what
Yes.
we're doing tonight, right?
Yes.
Stay connected. So one of the things that me and my team have done is reach out more and more to our chapters and to our members, making sure that they're engaged. Because I mean, that's what it's really all about.
Right.
I have re-met my family, as just like Jimmy said, because I know. I mean, the three of us were pretty much on the road a good portion of last year, and probably
Yeah.
would be right now if it weren't for COVID,
Yes.
right? So spending this amount of time with my daughter, my son, and my wife, it's been actually really really cool.
Hmm.
It's an interesting paradigm though, because working from home and in the status quo is one thing, but being told you have to stay at home is a
Yeah.
completely different paradigm,
Yeah.
right? Uh, it's interesting. I first question I ask everyone is how are you doing, and it's we really need to look out for one another more and more. Um, so I've reached out to friends and former colleagues that I haven't worked for or haven't talked to in like a decade
Right.
because I'm just trying to stay more connected than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. Like we would all be on the road at this point. Like I would have had probably 3 or 4 trips at this point. I know you travel of the three of us, you probably travel the most. Um,
I think
but
last year was 124 days I was gone.
right, that's ridiculous. But yeah, it's that I'm you guys have said it, and you know, I agree. Like being able to, like, my commute each day is 3 hours round trip. So an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half at night, and not having to do that and actually getting to have breakfast and lunch with my kids and my wife has been amazing. Like, I can't, you know, every night before, even before this, my youngest daughter would say, "Daddy, are you going to be here tomorrow?" And you know, most of the times it was no, no, I have to go to work, and I leave before they wake up,
Right.
except on weekends, and then like her face would light up. So you know, now it's like every day, "Daddy, you going to be here tomorrow?" "Yep, I'll be here tomorrow." Yay! So, and you know, I'm not going, I don't think I can go back to the way it was, but more importantly, Jared, what are you having tonight?
So what I'm currently drinking is and it's not a rum because it didn't stay in the barrel long enough. So it's
Sure.
a sugarcane
Liqueur.
liqueur, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
It's made locally. It's quite nice.
Okay.
I'm a little distressed because that's the last of it, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get some soon,
Uh-huh.
or switch it up. We'll see.
Right.
What
Well,
are you drinking?
when I saluted Jimmy and his sentiments earlier, I took a sip of Muskoka Brewery salty caramel truffle,
Oh,
and in the can too, and I don't like it. So this is gonna be a rough hour.
so Vince, I was on a brewery tour about 2 years ago, actually from my favorite brewery, which I'll finish right after I finish that. Uh,
Yes.
and they talked about the different types of beer and the different levels of freshness. Obviously, the freshest beer you're ever going to get is right at the brewery, right?
Oh,
Right
sure,
off the bat, you just can't beat it.
sure.
Second best is out of the keg. Third best is out of the can,
Hmm.
and the least fresh is always the bottle
Right,
because the bottle lets in light and air.
right.
Yeah,
But that's the point to the green bottle, right? It's supposed to,
it gets in
right. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I actually for the first time ordered Jimmy, you don't have to stay on mute, buddy. I'm taking you off. Um
right.
I actually ordered alcohol through the internet for the first time like last week.
Wow.
So there's a local brewery, uh, Ernest Ciders,
Hmm.
that was like free shipping, contact, like okay, let's give it a go. I'm always up for some good ciders. It's delicious, but like it so from a can, and probably it was brewed and packed, like canned, you know, recently, because
Mhm.
it's not a big brewery. It's amazing. It is amazing. So I'll have to bring you guys some of that when next we meet. But yeah, it's been interesting trying. Like I'm drinking way more
Oh, I think everyone.
than I ever have. Like,
But
which is
Vin,
weird.
I thought I would join you.
Yes.
This is not advertisement. I don't really like it. So I thought
Oh, LaCroix. Oh my God.
I thought I would join you.
Cheers, buddy. Respect.
This is I have no idea what it is. I think it's water that they put something in it.
Yeah. I just know it's fancy people like it.
Yeah,
It's a very bougie drink.
yeah, like I said, this is not an advertisement for or
Yeah,
against.
yeah, yeah. Whatever, Jimmy.
Like my family has it, so I
Well,
thought I would join you.
I appreciate that. And
I know you love company, so I'm joining you.
with that, I wanna because we have a lot. There have been requests for stories for the both of you, and
Both of us.
for the
Uh-oh.
both of you, Jared. We've got poo-poos to cover.
Well, we have to talk about.
Um,
Sure.
so, but
Like,
Jimmy, the most requested stories so far, two of them are for you. Well, one is from Sabi, who was on episode 2 and said that in advance of all of this stuff, the lockdown, that you bought like one or two 50-kilo bags of rice.
So
Can
hold
you?
on a second, Vince. There's probably some Americans here that aren't going to show
Oh
the
yeah.
kilo
So
is.
that would be like 102 pounds. 100, like Is this true?
That's fake news. Fake
Okay.
news.
Yeah, it was 110.
It wasn't a perfect
No.
call. It was
No,
110.
it was not.
Okay,
It was
whatever.
not
It
perfect at
wasn't a
all.
perfect call.
At all.
Perfect. Okay.
So here's the thing. So back in January, my wife was in Uganda, and I was working. I have teammates in China and Europe, and I know COVID-19 was brewing.
Sure.
So it was a matter of time before it wasn't going to be a matter of time before it hits home. Because, I know my wife already in Asia. She's coming home. I'm saying, I don't know what she's bringing.
Right.
So I went and shopped, and I pretty much shopped for the afterworld. I said, I'm going to stock up. I don't care what people say. I'm going to survive this thing. So, but I've lived in shutdown before. In my past history, there are certain items that you get. You get items that you can store, you don't need electricity for, such as pasta, rice, and beans. And if you can afford meat, good for it, and onions and vegetables. So I went in and stocked up. So my wife came and nothing happens. So we ate everything. Once we done, that's when the lockdown happened. And I'm like,
so okay, this story is even better. So if I may, you bought a 50-ton bag of
25 pounds.
25 pounds. Okay, so Sabi,
It's a fish story.
That's okay. That's fine. But then you ate it before the lockdown.
Before the lockdown. Now the lockdown happens, and I'm like, I did my rice.
How did you eat 25 pounds of rice in a month?
I love rice, man. So I was not totally out, but I know once the lockdown happened, I think we had about 2/5 of the bag left. I said, okay, hold up. I need to stock up. So I'm calling everyone and say, okay, do you see rice anywhere? So I talked to Sabi, and Sabi told me he had some rice. And I said, okay, but I had 25. How big was yours? He said, oh, mine was 50. I needed 50 pounds of rice. So I looked all over the place on Amazon. And on Amazon, the 25-pound bag of rice was going for $300.
What?
Yes, 300. I'm not
Is
making.
this before? I guess this is before they shut all that stuff down.
Yeah. So then I said, okay, we just have to ration the amount of rice that we eat. And then eventually, there's an Asian store by the house, about probably like 3 miles. And my wife said, okay, don't worry. When we go shopping, we'll get your rice. And eventually, we went there. And we were looking for flour. We could not get flour. We were looking for sugar. Costco was out of sugar. And then it was heaven. They did not have the 25-pound.
Stacks of rice. Bring me rice.
I said, you coming home. I told my wife, we're getting 4. I said, let's get 6. She said, what are you doing?
Pounds of rice?
You bought 200 pounds of rice.
I only got 1. So
Okay.
she spoke some sense. I only got 1. So my 25-pound is still there, but the 50-pound is, I said, this is emergency. We're not touching it. If we touch it, we have to replace it.
Oh my God.
That's the story. Yes.
So wait. So Sabi was not fake news. Like he
alternative facts. Let's put it this way.
Oh, jeez. Okay, you know what? We'll come back to you, Jared.
Go. There's no way I'm going to beat 50-pound bag of rice.
Well, so this is why okay. So last week I had Bruce Gay and Dan Simon on, and one of the things we talked about was this story that Jimmy told us in Boston last year that was like the most ridiculous story. That's why I was leading to that. I didn't know that was going to be gold as well. So I'm like, Jared, basically, we have to close with Jimmy's story, and I think he knows what I'm talking about.
I can tell.
You know what? Let's just do it. Jimmy, I don't know if you know this, is Ugandan royalty.
I am.
I did not know that.
So straight. We are in the presence of royalty this evening.
Wow,
Jimmy,
No, but
Please
I like to see
elaborate.
Jared's story first.
Which one?
Jared, what is your story?
You want to do the poo-poo story?
Yeah, let's do the poo story.
Okay, Jared, you want to do this one, or you want me to do it?
Go
You
for it, Vince.
Okay, so Jared and I have crossed. I think we first sort of were introduced at BBC. I would say 2018. We probably like I knew who you were. You may have known who I was.
So I was thinking about that today.
Yeah.
I remember meeting you at BBC in San Antonio, which was 2018.
Right, 2018.
But I knew you before, but I don't remember how
I mean,
before.
I'm awesome. So I mean,
That's
it's
true.
like, and I knew who you were, and you knew who I was. But that was the first time we met, and then we chatted a little bit at Project World Toronto. But the time we really, I would say, got to know each other was was in Honolulu. And so Jared and I were out there for the PMI PD day in, I guess, September, and we were Canada House while we were out there, because there were a lot of Canadians, but we were like the Canadians. And I still remember getting an invite from Jamie Champagne, who invited us out there, and she said to us, "So after the thing, we're gonna go hang out." Or no, it was the speaker night. So we're just gonna go to this local brewery. We're gonna have some drinks and we're gonna have some poo-poos. And you and I sort of looked at each other and then looked at her and like, what? What are we? What? Poo-poos? And she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you guys aren't from here. Poo-poos are appetizers." And so when you go out for like, we should actually have some poo-poos right now.
Okay.
I think we included poo-poos in every sentence for the rest of the trip.
And then some.
And then some. And sometimes it was like, so we bonded over poo-poos.
Actually, we bonded over poo-poos, but we bonded over the word poo-poos.
This is what I mean. Yeah, right. The word poo-poos. And then we went and had poo-poos.
Right. And then we hung out a little bit extra. I think it was the next day we also went out for poo-poos again.
That's right.
Right? With Davey.
We poo-pooed it up while we were out there. And it was glorious. And it was just, I know you said it there, and it was so cool getting to hang out and getting to know you a little bit more, and not just like, there's Jared from my IBA.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And I mean, as you can see, there is no comparison to the 50-pound bag rice story.
Of course not. Or Ugandan royalty.
And so we've got John Fraser on who's watching us. So let's get in. Hail Prince Jerry. I think he means Jimmy, but that's okay. You know what? No, you're Jerry now. You're Jerry. So Jerry, tell us about how you came to know that you are royalty.
Yes. So that one is a very insightful story. So I was in Uganda. So there was a church. We went to the church and we're doing some.
Well,
we were doing some work in the church, and I was talking to my wife on the phone. So I was really out there. The rest of the team, they were getting prepared, doing things, and I was right there on the phone. And then I turned around and I saw this elderly lady talking to a couple of folks, and they were pointed at me, and I'm like, they keep pointing at me and saying, okay. So I started the conversation, finish the conversation. The news, the topic was not that joyful, so I was a little bit sad, trying to figure things out. And when I was done, people in the local community, but it was inside of a compound, so they were kind of gathering and talking and pointing at me. And I said, okay, hold up. There was another story when I was in Cambodia, but let's say in Uganda, because I had my 5-minute fame in Cambodia. I said, okay, I'm going to address this. So I called one of the locals. I said, "What is that elderly lady is saying about me?" And they said, "She said you are a machinga."
Machinga, that's what it was. All right.
I'm saying, "Okay, a machinga. What is a machinga? I have no idea what that is." But I've watched the movie Coming to America before, so I said, I mean, I've been to America, so now I'm back. So yeah, does that mean she thinks I am, kind of a world? She said, yes. The Machinga. I think the name of the tribe is Chinga, spelled Kiga,
Mm.
and they're like an ethnic group from northern Rwanda and southern Uganda, and so they refer to them as Chinga.
Mm.
So I'm saying, all right, I can be that. All right, no problem. So what is it about it? Now, the funny thing, the real portion of that story is she described me like she knew me. And that is the portion that I really that was amazing to me because I've never met the wonderful lady. She was
Yes.
full of wisdom, and she was telling me about my character traits that was amazing. I mean, it's like she knew me. You know what I'm saying? Is there any portion in that whole thing that described me as the king? She said, yes, you behave like a king. You're not the king of Bachinga. I said, no, hold up, really? Do I really? She said, yeah. Now all of a sudden, people came around me and said, Jimmy, king of Bachinga. I'm like, what? Okay, then that's cool. So throughout the whole day, we talk about me being the king, and I said, okay, what are the benefits of being a king? They said, oh, no problem. We'll do the coronation this weekend. We'll give you 7 wives. And I said, okay, I can barely handle one. This is it. I'm willing to renounce my kingdom. So I tried to get my way out of it. But it was an amazing trip to begin with. So the whole being king was really funny for a whole day. Of course, everybody kept messing up with me, calling me king of Bachinga. And it was funny because I think a couple of days I went back to the same village. She still came to me and said, King of Bachinga. I said, oh, I mean, she's full of wisdom, right? So
Yeah. Oh, so you're not saying she's wrong. Like, she's right. You are the king.
yeah,
Just, you didn't want to, you
I didn't want
advocated
to.
that.
No.
So Jimmy,
You,
next time I see you, how do I address you? Your Royal Highness?
Yes,
Like, do I bow one knee? Like, how's it work?
my lord, just let it flow. Don't hold anything back.
So Jimmy, I was talking to Vince earlier about the last time the three of us were together was in
Yeah.
Chicago, right?
Yes, it was.
With the furries. Do you remember the furries?
No, I don't remember Chicago.
Oh,
I think he took off.
you must
Yeah,
have left.
yeah.
So-
I have to
And even
recall
I left as the furries were starting to show up. I did see 2 or 3, but I was like, I didn't see. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyways, that whole trip was just a huge um, shining point of the year. So it was really cool. And I was telling Vince I was going to wear my T-shirt from Giordano's. Remember we went and had deep dish pizza?
Yes, we did. We
Where-
did.
Show me your cheese pull. Oh, Jennifer has a photo of the furries. They're not
Yes.
fake furries. They were furries, Jen.
Oh yeah. No.
Where's Jen? Is she going to join us?
No.
Oh,
No.
oh
This
okay.
is the 3. Jen had her chance.
Oh,
She-
but
she
as
was
a
on-
kid, I like my,
I mean, do you should we have her on?
I don't mind.
Okay, Jen, if you are on and you're watching and you want to join us, send me an email and I'll send you the link.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Socially connected. Remember that.
Yeah.
Socially connected.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Yes,
the furry that was interesting.
Apparently, so Amy was saying that the furries were like they try and do it the same time every year, and she kind of scheduled BA World in Chicago just so that it might coincide with the furries.
Yeah,
that
which
was
is weird.
weird.
Yeah.
I've never been hugged by a glowing unicorn like that before in my life. It was weird.
Okay, so you were like all up in the furries. because like I guess when I was checking out, they were just arriving because I don't think their thing started until the next day.
Yeah, I think you're
And
right.
so I saw them. I saw a couple. Like I saw a fox, a skunk. Uh, they look like mascots to
They
me,
do.
but apparently they get freaky, and it's really weird. So so here was my question: do they have to in their extracurricular stuff? Do they have to obey the laws of nature? Like
I'm.
like can a dog hook up with a cat? Is that cool, or do they have to observe the laws of nature?
I have no idea what their nighttime activities
And
are.
see, this is where my head went to. Is like, so if you've got a wolf and a sheep, can they hook up, or is that off limits?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't
Because
know. That's a good research question. Can
right, I
animal
don't want no, I don't want to know. I mean, I'm just curious, but I don't actually want to know the answer.
It
I
was,
would
it
be
was interesting
terrified of
though,
the.
so Vince, checking out the next morning, there was a sign at the front desk saying, and it was addressed basically to the furries, that whoever had the cleanest room
Yeah,
at the end of their stay was automatically entered into a draw for a free night the next time they came through, because
yeah,
apparently they're just
it's
animal.
yeah. Well, Amy was saying that they have to fumigate the hotel after they're
Oh,
done. Like it's just gross.
I don't think those
It,
cops get cleaned that often.
probably not.
Or they
Probably not.
get cleaned.
And like, as I saw as we were heading out to the airport, there were dudes rolling up in their minivans and like pulling out hockey bags of, if I didn't know any better, I would say it was just hockey equipment, but was probably their helmet and their furry stuff. And you know what? Not for me. Not for me. Yeah, I could do without. But yeah, that was my last trip actually, was Chicago. That was my last flying trip. I had a week after
no, I
in
don't.
London, Ontario, but
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah,
was my last flight.
I think I've been to Toronto 3 times since then.
Mm,
Obviously, we have staff meetings. We had our
right,
annual staff meeting at the end of February, of course, with the new president CEO that we kind of moved that up, and
right,
then so senior leadership team meetings. There's one in December, and then one in January or February as well. So I think
right.
3 times I've been to Toronto since.
Mm,
I
that's
wonder if I
fascinating.
can find a picture of the furry.
Of the phrase, I'm sure there's some on the Facebook, but yeah, Jimmy, you missed that one because I think you took off like on the Tuesday
Yeah.
day, because we were trying to take a picture of the keynotes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were like, okay, but I have to go. Okay,
Yeah.
Jimmy. Like Jimmy
Last
has to.
we were looking
He's
for
royal. He's
dinner.
allowed to. He's got another royal engagement to get to.
Yeah, I
That's
had another
that's
royal
true.
engagement. My
That's true.
son is still waiting for me.
That's true. They're subjects. So yeah. So from the sounds of it, everyone's happy and healthy, and getting through this okay. How was the transition from so Jared, for you probably easier, as you said, but just emotionally, I'm curious. Like now we're gonna get deep here. How was the transition from you know the previous the time before March and now? Because like it escalated quick.
It did escalate quick. So from a work perspective, it was pretty
No,
seamless.
no, from a life perspective. Never
But
mind
the
work.
life, it's interesting, and like I said, being told you have to stay at home versus working from home, completely different paradigms.
Right,
Um, Working from home while you're also trying to get your kids to do schooling and kind of homeschooling them as well, was a bit of a problem at the first little bit, because so living in the province of Alberta, they made the announcement school was canceled, it was over for the year.
right,
Boom. And then we had spring break, and then they came back and they're like, well, we're going to do distance learning. And I'm like, well, how do you do distance learning after you've told the kids that it's over?
right,
Not quite the same thing, right? So um, that was a little hard to deal with.
right.
We've made some adjustments, and both of my kids are are doing their homework and doing quite well at it, I think.
Good.
But it did take some adjustment for sure.
Right. And your kids are a little older though, right?
So next week, I'm going to have two teenagers.
Oh, geez.
My son turns 13 next Friday,
Congrats.
and my
Hey,
daughter's already 15, soon to be 16.
cheers.
Yeah, that's where all these gray hairs are from,
Oh, if I could get in close, I've got grays coming in here, and it's and here. It's not a good look.
This is almost white.
But like, and this is why Jimmy is Machinga, because look at him. The man is, in his no. But you're mid-40s. I don't see any gray.
No.
It's just it's the royal aura and royal blood, man. Keeps you young. So that's yeah. So this, I've heard from a lot of people that have older kids, like it's been a lot easier from that perspective because you don't have to be on them. My daughter's in kindergarten, so like she can't use the laptop by herself, and you gotta be on her, and so it turns you into a teacher.
Yeah.
And I find, one thing I was thinking the other day is like they keep referring they referred to the folks that are still working as essential workers, and then something switched, and they've started calling them frontline workers. And to me, that's an interesting switch because if you are essential, then you should probably be paid as if you're essential. And I think that switch was like, okay, well, we don't want to have to pay you more when this is over. So
I think that there's a slightly different take on that.
Please.
I think the frontline worker is everyone that's still able to work, right? Whether you're essential or not. So the world would continue to revolve if I, for instance, wasn't working. It would continue.
Sure.
So I'm not essential, but I am frontline because I'm still continuing to work. That's the way I see it. But the essential workers are your nurses and your doctors, the people that work in the grocery stores, the people that are filling up the grocery stores. Those to me are essential.
Right. Yeah. And so
maybe it's just a different distinction between the two.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I never thought of it that way.
But it's interesting. I've said this so many times over the years, and not just because of COVID, but if you look back at Michael Jordan, an amazing athlete, getting paid way too much to play a silly game, really.
Yes.
But the doctor that cures cancer, the doctor that comes up with a vaccine for COVID, he's going to make like nothing.
Well, yeah, because he or she probably works for a university or and so may get a piece, but is not going to get.
Well, even if he's working for the university won't get the same amount that Michael Jordan was making.
No, they may, but the doctor's going to get 5-10% of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you give that up when you sign on to tenure at a university.
Yeah.
But who knows who's gonna discover that cure, and it's probably still a year away. Like it's not anytime soon. I think we may end up with herd immunity before that, and it depends. I don't know, Jimmy. You. So we're providing the Canadian perspective. What's I mean, so your part of the country was one of the hardest hit immediately and I know not in Portland, but in Seattle.
In Seattle and in California.
Right.
So for me, mentally, I was ready. Of course, I already got my 25 pounds.
You had the 18 tons of rice.
Yeah, I was ready for the afterlife, right?
Yeah.
So mentally speaking, I was ready for it. For me, and which is why sometimes when I'm hearing in the news, some people were not ready, and I'm saying, okay, if me in Oregon, Sherwood, Oregon, I could foresee this, and I have limited information, but based on my interaction with other folks around the world, I saw this coming. I don't know why they're not ready, but that's a discussion for another time.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally speaking, I was ready. What I was not ready for is, because I work from home, what I was not ready for was to work from home with all my kids there as well.
Right.
So, so for me, that was the shift. because usually the house is empty. I can shout loud and all that. I'm fine. And now every now and then somebody's knocking at my door and said, "Now we're watching a movie." So what? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing watching a movie? So for my children, I have 4. So the 3 of them doing very well on their own. So they do not need too much help. The
Right.
youngest one, she has a tablet and she's doing online schooling as well, doing her reading and so forth. It's not. So my wife has been very amazing to take care of that aspect of it. So I pretty much help my son when he has some math problems, but we are, like I said, we're doing where we play a lot of silly game at night, trying to figure out. So there's one game they will ask a question about themselves, and there are like 4 answers. We have to figure out the correct answer. Of course, I lost all the time. Like I told you, I'm learning my children. Yeah, so it has not been too much of an adjustment.
Good.
But in the US, I believe we do have a vaccine that will come out in January. So that is the breaking news.
So that's the news I heard today. It drops the cycle, I guess, from 14 days down to 11 or something.
Yeah,
it's not a vaccine though. It's just
that's not the vaccine.
That's something else.
It's called RAMS. I cannot pronounce the name for it, so it starts with an R. But they're working on a vaccine to come out in January.
Right. You know who actually may know the name of the vaccine?
Yeah, Jennifer Bedell. So Jen, now that you've joined us, show some pictures of the 5 furries.
The 5. So what? Sorry.
You need to show some pictures of the furries.
I have one picture. It's not actual furries though.
I have one picture, but I don't know how to share it.
You know what? If people want to see the furry picture, you're just gonna have to get in touch with Jared. And
I have one right here.
And ask him.
It's a green and red and white wolf, and he's eating a thing of. I think that's supposed to be watermelon, but I'm not sure. He's carrying this piece of watermelon in fur.
Jen, where do you stand on? Do furries need to observe the laws of nature? Like, can a wolf hook up with a sheep? Is that?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I'm not up on my furry regulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Like, that's the thing that fascinates me. To the point where I would ask the question, not to the point where I want the answer. I'm just sort of like,
because you're not getting an answer.
Fine distinction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Jen, you are our first interloper on Analysts
I'm
After
crashing
Work.
your party.
No, it's exciting.
You are warmly invited, Jen.
You were invited.
Royally invited.
I did. Yes, you were. I requested your presence.
Oh, do I have to bow? Is that the? See, now you guys can see my house coat.
Because you're female, don't you have to do a curtsy?
Yeah, no, that would involve standing. Not happening.
Here's a question. I was actually asked this in a meeting the other day. Have you been asked at any point to stand up and prove that you're wearing pants?
Oh yeah, that was in the news.
Well, there's that dude that was wearing boxers, but yeah, like.
Well, so here's the thing. I started a new job on March 17th. Yeah, thank you. That was the day they shut down the office for the new place. And the CIO on our first meeting actually stood on a chair to prove that he was wearing pants.
That's awesome.
I thought, I am in the right place. These guys are cool.
Is everyone wearing pants today?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
I'm not going to ask for proof.
I'm wearing shorts because it got to 21 degrees today.
Jeez. In Calgary?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
How was your weekend? Weather-wise?
Fantastic.
Awesome. We had snow.
We're not, listen. When someone asks about the weather, that's the end of the conversation.
All right.
And we still have 20 minutes to go. So we are not talking about weather.
So Jen, since you joined us, Vince didn't ask you, what are you drinking tonight?
Yes.
What took me so long, I had to go pour a glass of homebrew, white this time.
There you go.
Now, is that wine or is that spirits?
It's wine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Awesome. So we've got a good. We have on this call 4 of the 5 North American time zones represented.
Yes.
This is truly Atlantic, Eastern. We're missing Mountain.
No,
sorry,
right.
we're missing. Sorry, we're missing Central,
Yeah.
Mountain, and Jimmy is Pacific.
We're
Yeah.
missing Newfoundland too.
Newfoundland.
We're missing Newfoundland. I always forget Newfoundland.
Yeah, they're half hour
That
beyond.
them and North Korea, they're the only ones that go with the half hour.
India.
India's on a half hour too?
Yes. And they don't
Fancy.
change their time, so you figure out the time difference based on what month it is. It's either 8.5 or 9.5, depending on what time of year.
Okay.
So 11.5 or 12.5 for me.
Right. There you go.
Right.
What's
But
interesting,
this is cool.
Yeah,
just
that is
sent-
cool.
I just sent out an invite to all of our chapter leaders last week, and it took me forever to figure out what time zone everything was going to be in and whatnot. Sending 700 invites, I didn't know if Outlook could do it, but
Wow.
if I didn't send it through Outlook, if I sent it through regular email or whatnot, I was afraid I was going to send someone to the wrong time zone or the wrong. It was just a nightmare. Got it
You
through.
know what I've seen very effective in that is like you just say it's at 10 a.m. Central or Mountain. Here's a time zone checker. Like
Timeanddate.com.
there you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Figure it out. Like,
So I should have been online last week.
But doesn't Outlook automatically translate it when they
I
receive
think it does.
So
I think it
Outlook
does.
does. Yes, if you
Yeah.
send a meeting invite through Outlook.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure I would be able to send that many invites through Outlook. So I was looking through other options, but then they wouldn't do the translation. So it's
Oh,
all good. It'll work.
What the hell are you organizing that requires 700
700
people?
I'm surprised your organization lets you send to 700
Yeah.
people. Who's the IT director?
You're a good friend of mine.
You become this
I got some bull.
700 people. Here's my
Well,
thought about our company.
With 120 chapters around the world, we have
Okay, yes.
5 or 6 chapter leaders at every chapter. So 781 people. It's not hard to
But
fathom.
I need to check my email, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Sounds like something was sent recently.
So-
Jed.
So Jared, now that we have you, what's your favorite chapter? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was going to tell you too.
Oh, cool. Go ahead.
I know, it's all right.
I know what it isn't.
Halifax? Toronto?
What is your favorite? No, that's like kids asking who's your favorite.
Hold on a second, Vince. That's a great question, but what's the context? What do you call great? What do you call
Oh,
favorite?
I mean, and we had this discussion, right? Because I am not active with my local chapter, just because I don't. Well, whatever. You know
Right, I
what?
had to.
Like, no, that's fair. Hey, we're like, the stuff that happens is normally downtown, and like I live an hour and a half away, or I live an hour away. It's not convenient, and there's not a lot up where I am, so it's hard to be engaged with a group when you're so like. It's actually easier for me when I travel to wherever and then hook up with the local chapter and do like something for them.
Yeah,
That is easier for me because like I'm there, I'm not doing anything else versus I want to go home. You know what
so
I mean?
now that all of our chapters moved to virtual, that's not an excuse anymore.
It's
Okay.
not, but shut up, Jimmy. I mean, Your Royal Highness.
That's better.
Shut your mouth, Your Royal Highness.
I
Um,
you have to finish it.
it's not, but the offerings that I saw right now are around study groups, so it's not.
Fair
It's
enough.
not like I've already done my thing. I have successfully lobbied to be a de facto trainer for my organization with a path to anybody that goes through my BA masterclass will be prepared to go and write one of the certifications.
Fantastic.
So
Cool.
I am Jared. I'm looking out for you, buddy.
So you're talking about the core certifications, though, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think in the group that I'm expecting to train that there's going to be a lot of CBAPs just from experience, but potentially a big group of ECBAs coming into the fold. So. And that's the sell. It's like you do this, and then your next step is go get a certification from IIBA.
So it's interesting. I remember Jamie when we were talking about poo-poos, talking about one of the members that they had in the Hawaii chapter wanted to become a BA so badly, had no experience or whatnot, and decided to get the ECBA certification, and then went to organization and said, "Listen, I proved that I know my stuff.
Yeah.
Give me the chance to get the experience." And her passion and her desire got her a job. So that's
awesome. That's awesome.
I love that story.
Well, and I mean, it is hard. Like the requirements for the CBAP are extensive, right? Like when I wrote mine, there was no alternative.
Right.
It was CBAP or nothing, and so I don't think my path would have changed because I had the experience, I had the hours, I had everything. But there was a time prior to that where 2 years before I wrote that, it might have been helpful to have the CCBA, right? But didn't exist. I'm not complaining, but just I think it's good to have that sort of pathway to the pinnacle, right? So the pinnacle of our field.
Agreed.
So I think it's good. But anyways, no commission expected. Doing this for the love. I'm actually back doing like proper BA work now. Actually, after Hawaii, I'm doing a lot of enterprise analysis stuff. So it's really, really cool. And not a lot of enterprise analysts. So I'm starting to get pretty vocal on that because I think, to me, we talked about Lori earlier. I had her. I had a conversation with her, and we did a webinar for the Houston IIBA chapter because we were supposed to be down there for their bad. And so we talked about there. So I said, and this is controversial, but whatever. Decisions are being made by dumb people, and they're decisions that BAs are perfectly suited to answer. Like,
are they being made by dumb people, or are they being made by people who don't know how to get the right information to make?
Well, what's the difference? So, like I said, controversial, right? So I said, like, these decisions are being made, and there's not the level of analysis being done prior to making a decision. So BAs, if they can make that leap up and start getting into strategic and leadership conversations, they are best suited to make those decisions, or to make, even if it's just a recommendation. And so I've been on the enterprise analysis like bus for the last 6 months, and probably out in till whenever, because we can't have organizations making dumb decisions.
But Vince, I think a lot of the BAs aren't ready to take that leap. They're not ready to do the analysis and then say, this is where we should be going. And it scares me that is the case.
I know. And so this wasn't intended to turn into this, but that's what, like, I've actually put together a multi-day workshop to get them ready for that.
That's fantastic.
Like, to get them, and I'm going to be, it's going to come out at, or it's going to be sort of announced at the Project World, BA World virtual summit or virtual conference at the end of May, because I'm doing a topic on enterprise analysis. And then it's going to be like, here's this workshop. If you want to sign up, like, it'll be cheaper for people that attend this, but like, it's to get people ready so that they have that confidence in built in and the capability add strategic value, to play a leadership role, and to have their voices heard at the executive at tables where these decisions are being made. So like I said, this wasn't intended to be a pitch, but like we need that because somebody needs to do it. So we can talk more about that after. Like this is supposed to be this, guys. Like
yeah. So just one question though,
too
Vic.
much business talk here.
You put this workshop together. Is this what you did with all that free time now that you don't need to commute?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 2 new
See,
keynotes.
I listened to your other podcast. That's now a video cast.
That's now a video cast. Yeah. So 2 new podcasts, and I actually have notes here. This is a 1-day transformation journey. So it's getting organizations ready for like I have had a level of productivity in the last 6 weeks that is unmatched, and to me, it's because I'm sleeping.
That's awesome. And you didn't get a new puppy.
And I didn't get a new puppy, which we covered in episode 4 when Jen was on.
Yes.
So, and Jen, I just realized you're the first 2-time guest.
Oh my goodness.
The show.
You're timing him.
You're
awesome. Timing him. How could you do that?
Blockchain.
Did you say bocce?
I said blockchain. Yeah. So yeah, I've been like, everything's been clear, and it's because I am sleeping, 7 or 8 hours a night instead of my usual 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
It's interesting though, Vince, giving yourself an extra 3 hours a day because you're not doing that commute is a major advantage as well.
Oh yeah. And if I can just figure out how to carve out some time to reactivate beast mode, like I'm gonna come into these keynotes just like jacked, because I did that back in the day. I used to work out pretty seriously, and nobody believes it, and that hurts a little. But if I can just find some time to, Jimmy, I see you laughing. Shut up. If I can just find some time to like do that, I'm gonna come on stage and like all suave and debonair, and like it's gonna be great. James Bond up in this bitch. So Jimmy's Jimmy's been quiet for way too long, and he's just listening. You cannot
I'm learning.
Be an active participant in this, my friend. So
so there's one thing that you said, and I think that's very valuable. And for me, that's what I'm getting out the COVID-19 portion. So the fact that, so similar to you, I finally know what breakfast is, because
right.
I usually never have breakfast. Right? It's by the time I'm sitting on calls, the next thing I know, it's already noon or 1. And so right now, what I'm trying to do is really make sure that my days are really well accounted for, and also after work. The challenge for me is my schedule I did not really get too much time back with the COVID. I get a lot of sleeping time, and also not too much because I'm doing my schooling stuff as well. So my already booked, so that's there for me. But I did add a lot of other things I wanted to do, such as wanted to learn Adobe Premiere. I bought the thing, never used it, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm gonna learn this thing. Finally gonna learn it. So, and I think that is the thing that folks really should take. I mean, if I were to give one insightful lesson to everybody, is we are so busy always trying to figure out what's the next thing to do, the next conference to go, the next flight to catch, the next meeting to go to. We never really figure out where do we want to take our lives and where we want to take our. I mean, what are your plans for tomorrow? Are we really sitting down to strategize and say, okay, this is where 5 years from now, this is where I want to be in my life. Right. What's my purpose? What's my passion? And before for some people, I'm not saying for all of us, but for some people, it used to be we never have the time to do it. But now many of us do have the time, knowledge workers in particular, is what do you do with this time? I mean,
all the excuses are gone.
You cannot let the world reopen and for you to come out and say, ouch.
Yeah.
I don't have a strategy for my life.
Well, I mean, it's even I think it's even more micro than that. Like, if you don't come out of this with something that you can point to of
Exactly.
like, that's how I spent my 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it ends up being. I learned a new language. I learned Adobe Premiere.
Mhm.
I worked out. I, I wrote a book. Like, if you can't come out of
With
this, I got, or if you're me, you do all of those. Um,
I'm
What language,
exhausted just hearing what Vince does.
and what
but
language are you learning?
I'm not. I'm just my daughters have been learning Spanish, and I do Duolingo with them, and I forget it almost immediately. But but like, if you're not going to come out of this with a new skill, then you wasted your time. And because this, like, all those people, like, oh man, I'd work out if I had more time, or I'd write that book if I had more time, or I'd, you know,
This is the time.
whatever. Those excuses are gone. So
This will be the most expensive opportunity cost for a lot of people. And
yes,
I think if I were to give anyone an advice is take this time now, because right, wrong, or indifferent, we cannot account for the amount of negative loss this thing has caused the world, our country,
financially,
financially.
financially, right,
However, personally, if this
right,
does not impact you right away, this is an opportunity time for you to come out with something to make a difference in your life or somebody else's life close to you. But it will help the world a lot if you come out with something new that you
yes,
can contribute.
1,000%,
I couldn't agree with you more, Jimmy. I think a lot of people are thinking that this is just a pause moment, right?
mm,
We're just going to put the life on pause, and then we're going to recommence down the road, and life is going to be the same. Life is not going to be the same.
Now,
mm-mm. It's
We
never
are
going back.
we are talking about a fundamental change in the way we do business, the way we interact, the way we do everything. And if
Yep.
we're not doing something to get ready for that point, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Whether
yeah.
that's learning a new language, figuring out what you want to do, figuring out where you're going, figuring out where your opportunities are going to be when the new normal actually comes to pass.
Right.
Even open a TikTok account. I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, dude, me neither. I have a TikTok
Okay,
account. I
good.
don't know
Me
what to
too.
do with it.
I,
Like,
I signed on to it like, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago. My
yeah,
daughters were surprised I knew what it was. I don't know how to use it either.
I think you're just supposed to like dance and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
Like,
It's a stupid little thing like, oh, I can't stand that dog.
Did you just dip?
I dabbed, yeah.
Dab.
So I
Dab.
will
See, I don't even know what it's called.
Have you not seen? I dabbed. I've dabbed after a keynote because Jen Batten loves it when I do it.
Yeah.
I'll look at her and like,
And my
That was
kid
loves
loves
it.
TikTok. I'll send it to you, Vince.
I think she does at least. I'm like, yeah, send it to me because I have a TikTok too, and
Yeah, my first TikTok appearance.
Oh, you actually made a video?
No, I mean the kid made the video.
Oh, okay.
I was part of it. They were working me through. No,
Yeah,
my
send
kids
it
are
over. Send
very
it
young.
over.
I'm
Send
like,
it over. I
yeah,
have an
I'll do it.
account, but I've never done anything.
Yeah, I was thinking of using TikTok next time we meet, so we could, we could
Oh,
do TikTok.
I'm in. I'm in for that. I'm in for that.
So I told them they have until May 15th to teach me how to do it. I mean, I did some with them when I was in Florida last year, but I
Yeah.
don't really get. I mean, you really have to plan this thing. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
Some people do it, they do the dance, it's really cheesy and all that. But you can do great things with it if you take a minute to plan it out. So I was
And get those transitions and like.
yeah.
All right.
So Jimmy, you're teaching yourself TikTok and Adobe Premiere?
Yeah. So right now the things that I'm learning. So as I mentioned earlier, so I'm still going to school, so I'm still doing a lot of research for papers and all that. So that takes a lot of my time, which
He's gonna be King Dr. Jimmy.
Yeah,
like
King Doctor.
Is
Right.
it King Doctor or Dr. King?
no, there already was one of those.
Okay, fair enough.
He's King Doctor.
King Doctor.
He's King Doctor.
King Dr. Jimmy.
King Doctor. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, I also started with the TV show, with the Toastmaster TV show, that also
Hey.
be a lot of doing additional research. So the research that since I don't have Project World to express some of those, so I'm doing it today.
Is it better than Analysts After Work?
It's more content related. This is fun. This is relaxing.
So it's not better.
It's not bad. It's apple and oranges. You know, they serve different purposes.
It's not better, right, Jimmy?
You will have different values.
You should be a politician, Jimmy.
That's what
you know,
I was too much TV. That's something I learned. You don't have to answer the question they ask you. You just have to provide an answer.
Well, and even a native Floridian has vouched for the fact that when you're in Florida, you do weird ass things like make TikTok videos.
Like getting TikToks.
All right, guys, we've got we're actually over time because
we just started. What are you talking about?
Oh, so I mean, when
Hans, like we just started.
Well, when Hans and Jen were on, we actually talked for an hour afterwards. But when you have a show, it's an hour.
It's an hour.
So I'd rather leave people wanting more. So in like 30 seconds, and Jared we'll go clockwise from my view. Any last minute messages you want to give, or if people want to know more about you, where can they hit you up?
So, wow, I'm tongue tied, which doesn't happen very often. Obviously, the biggest message I would say is that we need to be socially more connected. Stuff like this is amazing, and thank you so much, Vince. This was so much fun.
Thank you for joining. I was excited.
Awesome, but we do need to stay more socially connected. We do need to reach out. We need to help each other get through this.
Yes,
we are a community, and we need to help each other all the time.
Yeah, BAs or not, it's like we're all together.
What's funny, I'm going to just one more story, and I know we're over time, but in Wisconsin last year at WeBAD, we went into the speaker room, and unfortunately I missed the speaker dinner the night before, but went into the speaker room, and there was a PM there that was also speaking at WeBAD, and she's like, I was at the speaker dinner last night, and normally when I go to like a PMI one, it's just all straight and narrow and whatnot. She goes, you all are rowdy. You guys are all like in your face and you're hugging each other, and because we band together, and we need to keep doing that. So,
well, yeah, and then to me, that's the thing. I mean, Amy has described Project World as like camp. Like, I only get to see Jen and Jimmy and you and Bob and Jen and Paul, like all when we go to camp, and so we are a community, and that's why I've been going through the immediate circle first before I start reaching out to other folks. But like, we need to be there for each other, and I think if this can at least start that, then I've done what I wanted to do. So
fantastic. Well, thanks again, man.
You're the man, Jared, and poo-poos. Jimmy.
Yes, I'd like to second Jared, and thank you, Vince, for inviting me. It was fun, and also like I didn't have to prepare, but just bring myself.
Yeah,
I love it, and my message would be: there is so much, there is so little time, and the time that we have right now available to us, I would really highly recommend somebody to do something with it. Get to know your family. Get to know your loved ones. I mean, there are a lot of people, and again, my heart goes out to everybody who's going through a tough time in this moment. I mean, my prayers really, really go out to all these people, and also the people who have to wake up in the morning, drive the bus, open pharmacy, in case something happens to us. I mean, my gratitude, all of you, and I'm very thankful that Jen responded to the royal invitation to be here with us. I'm very grateful.
And thank you, Achinga.
Awesome. So before I kick it to you, Jen, I'll just folks, after Jen, we're gonna sign off. You guys don't have to disconnect though. We're just gonna end the broadcast. So Jen, some pretty heady stuff there, very serious. How do you want to close the show?
I can go way serious and talk about the tragedy in Nova Scotia last week.
You can.
But I know the whole world is already praying for everyone, so we'll continue that. I will say this though. Social distancing is not the right word. It's physical distancing.
Yeah.
Right? we still need to be social, like these guys said. We're social people. We chose this type of career because we're social people.
Mhm.
So keep it social, but keep it at a distance.
Awesome.
Amen.
Well,
Jen.
Jared.
Oh, and one more thing,
Yes.
very important. 1 week from today,
Yes.
when we would have been in Washington,
Yes.
we would have been celebrating a milestone birthday for me.
Yes.
So just, we'll have to virtually celebrate that as well.
So, Jen, you may want to tune in next week,
Okay.
where my guests will be Bob Prentice and Amy Riddell.
Oh, that's worth tuning in for.
Wow.
You will be
Yes.
celebrated.
So-
You will
So
be
tune in, and with that, folks, if you're out there, Danelkis, John, whoever the third person that's on my YouTube channel that's watching this, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Analysts After Work. See ya.
See everybody.
Thanks, Vince.